Welcome to the first episode of Wrestling with Tim. My name is Tim, and I am your host. And I don't know how often I'll be recording these or doing these. I just needed a project, if I'm being honest. So just a quick introduction. My name is Tim. I'm from the Detroit area. I have been a wrestling fan since I was, late 90s. I don't know, over 20 years. And I first saw WCW actually. Rey Mysterio was my hero. And I think a lot of people's hero. Like, he is just incredible, and even today he is just super incredible. Him versus Eddie Guerrero at Halloween Havoc. Oh my gosh. Just Rey Mysterio is the man. If I could meet one wrestler right now, it'd be Rey Mysterio. But I've been a wrestling fan for a very long time. I went through the invasion angle, and I'm glad we made it through all that. And I have been a WWE fan ever since about that time. I was very WCW. I was like, no, WCW is so much better. It wasn't, but that was a child. So, and yeah, I've been following wrestling for a very long time, and I just love it. It's just so fun. So that's a little bit about me. And I guess we'll just kind of start talking about. I don't really know. I don't think I'm gonna do like reviews of shows on here. But I think I'm just gonna talk about topics that are happening in the wrestling industry at this moment. So first, I just want to start with Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley was injured, as I'm recording this, last week. The Raw after WrestleMania, Liv Morgan threw a chair, hit her in the face. It actually looked like. When I heard she was injured, I thought maybe she had a concussion because she got hit in the head with the chair. But it turns out she went into the wall after she got hit, and her shoulder was just destroyed. So, hoping that Rhea Ripley has a quick recovery and comes back. She has been killing it as the Women's World Champion for so long that I can't even really think of anybody else that would fill that role at this point. I mean, not even Becky. And I know that they're supposed to be crowning a new champion on Raw this coming week. I assume it will be Liv, so that when Rhea does come back, Liv can kind of get her revenge, and you can have a built-in story. It kind of reminds me of the CM Punk and Drew McIntyre situation where Drew injured CM Punk, and CM Punk has been just messing with his life ever since. He wins a world title. Damian Priest comes down, cashes in, takes it. But it kind of reminds me of that, where Liv is, by all accounts, should be the good guy. She jumped, Rhea just to get back at her for injuring her, putting her on the shelf for 8 months with the shoulder injury. And now the fans are kind of turned on her because they like Rhea so much. So it's kind of like it's kind of like the same thing with Drew. With Drew is just being honest. He's like, no, I'm not. Jey Uso is the problem. The Bloodline's the problem. And then he just kind of stuck to his guns. And if you think about it, like, Drew's kind of not the bad guy in a way. So I think Liv is kind of fitting that role as well, but for the women's side. And I'm actually for it. I don't think Liv is the best, wrestler. I don't think she's the most charismatic, but she can play crazy, and I think she's gonna play crazy. So we'll see how that goes. But well wishes to Rhea. Hopefully she gets better soon and gets back soon. So since I mentioned Damian Priest, he did win the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania by cashing in on Drew McIntyre. His first opponent will be Jey Uso, coming up at Backlash in France. This is going to be interesting. So SmackDown was just in Detroit last week, and I actually attended with my wife and some friends. Jey Uso is so over. Like, he comes out, he does that entrance, and it's just everybody is with him. It is nuts. I can't see I can't see a way where they're going to make Jey Uso the World Heavyweight Champion. But at the same time, I don't know what you do with someone who's that over. The crowd loves him. We even saw him on Raw, and with getting the blessing from Cody and saying, "Hey, till we eat again." And I think I think that the fact that Jey Uso doesn't seem out of place standing next to the the WWE champion, it tells you how over he is. And I think eventually you're gonna have to get to a point where you give this man a title. And I think the World Heavyweight title could be it. I really do. Like, he is so over. Is he the best talker? No, but like, he doesn't need to be. Yeet. He's just great. So I think at a certain point he's gonna be one of them undeniable characters. And I think he kind of already might be. So, for that, I'm predicting Damian Priest retains because I can't see a way where he wins that title so quickly and then just loses it immediately. I can't see it happening. With that said, I think Backlash will be interesting. I think also for Cody Rhodes, I think his next challenger. I know Friday on SmackDown we're about to get AJ Styles versus LA Knight, a rematch from WrestleMania to get the number one contender. Barring some sort of swerve where they both kind of get added to the match, it's triple threat. I think it has to be AJ Styles. I mean, first off, that man looks so freaking jacked. Good Lord. But like he's such a good counterpart for Cody. They both have been, outside this company, been to Japan, been champions outside this company, have done so much outside of WWE for them to both get here at the same time and exist. I think it's just a natural fit, and I think they're gonna be. I think their chemistry is gonna be good. And I don't know if we've ever had a Cody versus AJ Styles match, which is also even more enticing because they're both just so good. AJ Styles may be the best wrestler, period. Like, he is fantastic. I don't know what happened with his match with Shinsuke Nakamura at WrestleMania. I don't know because it was not the best. But he is like fun. He literally phenomenal. I almost said phenomenal as like just a way to describe him without like actually meaning to tie it in like that. But he is literally phenomenal. So I'm hoping for a Cody AJ feud. I think it could be fantastic. Other things happening in the world of WWE right now. Sami Zayn has... Okay, first off, let's just talk about the Night 1 of WrestleMania. Night 1 of WrestleMania was seemingly lackluster, but I think it was because the crowd was so cold that they just had... All the energy was zapped out of them. I think if you go back and watch that Uso match, the Usos versus Jay versus Jimmy, it was not a bad match. I think the problem was we just had no crowd involvement. The crowd was dead. Also, Jey Uso, way over. Jimmy Uso, not so much. So I think also we had like a counter match where people cared only about one person and not the other. Enough that like it kind of threw everything off. Plus it being, 30 degrees in an outdoor arena, which is nuts. I think contributed for sure. But so Sami Zayn has probably the match of Night 1, where he dethrones Gunther for the Intercontinental title. The Brainbuster on the corner was so awesome because it's something we have never seen him do in the WWE. And it was perfect. I loved it. The crowd like came alive for that one moment. Like, they were quiet. And this man gets brainbustered on the top rope and you were like, oh my God. I was like, yeah, it was dope. It's El Generico mode right there. He hits the haluva kick, gets the win, new Intercontinental Champion. So awesome. Loved it. So good. Sami Zayn has been the best, overall, babyface character. He's been like the perfect good guy for so long that it's really cool to see him like actually get this, people were clamoring for him to win his match against Roman. It was never going to happen. But like, my God, did that crowd want it? Did people want it? They're like, you know what? Screw WrestleMania and Cody's story. Sami Zayn should win this match right now. So Sami Zayn has his match with Chad Gable this past week on Raw. And I think we all kind of saw this coming. It's in Montreal, so Sami Zayn is going to be way over, way cheered. Everything's going to be fantastic. And then Chad Gable is, he's going to get booed regardless, right? They do that spot where, one person punches and it's yay, and another person boo. And I mean, even though like Chad Gable is not a bad guy at this point, it was going to happen. And if they tried that, it would have happened. So anyway, we get to a point where Sami Zayn just gets enough to beat Chad Gable, and Gable does. He just eventually just kind of is like, you know what? Nah. The German's him on the floor, puts him in the ankle lock, puts him in the ropes, and ankle locks him, and Sammy taps out. And it doesn't matter. The match is over. Now, I thought I think we all saw this was going to happen, but I wish like Chad Gable was more aggressive. You know what I mean? Like, I wish he would have like actually went for it. Like, I don't know, do something nuts. Grab a chair, smash his leg, then put him in the ankle lock. Just something. It was a nice. It worked. It just, I feel like he could have done a lot more to really like sell the turn. He did one German, beat the crap out of him, and then put him in an ankle lock. And I feel like they could have just been more. And maybe they were running low on time. I don't know. Their production is their production. I'm not part of it. I don't know. I'm just someone, armchair quarterbacking. So, but no, I think this is going to be really cool, especially for Chad Gable. It gives him an edge. It gives him something he can do. I am interested to see the fallout with the Alpha Academy, or if the Alpha Academy kind of like go with him, or how this is going to work. My guess is he'll be like an AJ Styles type character where he kind of where AJ left the club kind of. He just kind of lets him chilling. I'm guessing that's what's going to happen with Chad Gable, but we'll see. This whole thing kind of reminds me of the NXT takeover where Sami Zayn beats Neville for the title and then Kevin Owens jumps him. It kind of all reminds me of that because, as soon as Sami Zayn can't have nice things. As soon as he gets something nice, someone's got to try to take it from him immediately. Sami Zayn is not allowed to have nice things. So I think that's, in my opinion, that's kind of how that whole thing is going. So, something else to talk about is there has been these rumors and of a new Wyatt family stable thing. So before I talk about my experience at SmackDown, where we did see something, if you will go back and watch the Bray Wyatt documentary, at the very end, there's this lantern and it lights up and it shows like an Uncle Howdy looking figure. And people keep saying it's Uncle Howdy. I don't want to assume that because I don't really know what this is going to be. We all know it's going to be something, but we don't really know what, when, where, or why. And I think we're all assuming it's going to be a faction of some sort. And if you wanted to throw names into the list for a faction, I mean, obviously, Alexa Bliss, um, Eric Rowan, blanking on his name, Braun Strowman, even Matt Hardy tweeted it as one of the things. So I could see all of those, and it's like the people that surrounded Bray, kind of. But my hope is that whatever this is, whatever they do, they're really chill about it, right? Like I'm hoping they do it in a way that kind of respects Bray Wyatt's creativity and not like just immediately takes it and rips it off. You know what I mean? Take the characters that he made and like run with them. I feel really indifferent about this. The documentary was so good, and I have such a love for Bray Wyatt. I was pitching for him to beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania. I felt like he had to beat John Cena at their first Mania encounter, and he didn't. And I was so disappointed because I feel like he was one of those wrestlers that they would push and push and push and build and build and build just to feed him to somebody. And then it was like he's supposed to be important. But like, how can he be important if like he's never won a giant feud? He always loses. I mean, then you look at he won the world title at Elimination Chamber, just in time to lose it at WrestleMania to Randy Orton. Or look at the Fiend character. We build the Fiend up. The Fiend is invincible, and then he's in a Hell in a Cell with Seth Rollins, and we go, nah, we've had enough. The hell. Or the fact that he was at and this, the fact that he was beaten by Goldberg as the Fiend in a really short amount of time, or there's so many times where it's like this guy should have been a monster, and things should have been working out for him, and it's like they just kind of chopped his legs out from under him. I mean, his match at WrestleMania with Randy Orton, where Alexa Bliss was like having that black goo come down from her head. What happened there? It's all just so unfortunate, It's like he never really got to the heights that I feel like he could have because they just kept chopping his legs out from under him. And that's that's not trying to discredit him in any way or his creativity, because his creativity was just off the charts. It's just like whoever was writing the stories just didn't believe that he could go over on things, and it's really unfortunate. So if you're gonna make this new Wyatt family thing, they have to be destroyers of worlds, right? Like they have to. You have to kind of do. You kind of have to pull the trigger. They have to just ruin everything. It's got to be like Retribution, but like good. Retribution was awful, but it's gotta be like they have to ruin stuff. And if they don't, like, you're just doing the same thing you did with Bray Wyatt. And why? Everyone was like so excited about his creativity and all these things he would do, and then they would just book him into oblivion, and it's just so stupid. I love Bray Wyatt, and I really hope they do this whole thing justice. And honestly, I'm excited, but I'm also like really nervous about the whole situation. Maybe you guys are too. I don't know. But yeah. Now I'm not. I'm gonna just be really transparent here. I'm not a big AEW fan. I surprised since I've talked 20 minutes about WWE for the whole time. I'm not a big AEW fan. I tried when they first started, and I thought it's great they're around, and I thought WWE putting them up against NXT was hilarious. Because no, don't get me wrong, I loved the black and gold NXT. I'll say it. It still has some of the best wrestling matches the WWE has ever put on as a product. The Sasha Bailey Iron Man match, any DIY match, Johnny Gargano versus Ciampa match, Johnny Gargano versus Andrade. The list goes on. Their matches, NXT was just insane. It was so good. Now, that said, as you know, biased as I am, I thought that NXT was doing a better job of producing matches, but I think AEW had that hype because they were new and they were the new thing on the block. I think 4 years later, we look at it a little differently. We look at AEW and we're like, what are you guys doing? And I'm not someone who hates on AEW. I don't. I think they have a lot of great talent. My God, Toni Storm is just doing the best work of her life. I don't really know what Chris Jericho is trying to do, but there's that. But I mean, their roster is just stacked. It's just a great roster. You couldn't produce a horrible television show with that roster. You really couldn't. That said, I don't think their TV show is bad. Their ratings, however, are not good. Their attendance numbers are just not good, and it's kind of sad, honestly. It's Tony Khan has spent so much money on all these wrestlers, and for some reason they don't draw crowds, and I don't get it. They went to the UK and they did Wembley, and there was supposedly 85,000 people. That's crazy. That is so crazy. That is insane number. However, if we look at their shows now, having 3,500 people in an arena that holds 10,000 is not good. And I think anyone who could look at it and go, no, it's fine, it's healthy, is not being honest. And I think when you have to use footage of a wrestler that no longer works for you in a backstage role to pump a number on your ratings, it makes me really wonder why your other talent aren't over enough to pop a rating. Like what is it about? Like and again, I'm biased. I 100% admit it. But I think what you need to focus on is telling really good stories. Look at the Bloodline storyline. I mean, it was nuts. It still is nuts. Tama Tonga showed up and attacked Jimmy Uso under Solo Sikoa. Paul Heyman goes to call Roman Reigns, and Solo Sikoa says, "Nah, dog. Like, are we about to have like a ladder match for the, for like the custody of Paul Heyman? Like, what's about to happen? I don't know. But all I know is that every time I think that storyline is dwindling, it twists and it gets better. And it's just nuts. And I feel like AEW is kind of missing some of that. And I don't know how to fix it. I don't. But I think one of the ways to fix it is to just stop taking shots and focus on making your product better. Check the numbers. Are you doing better now than you were last year when you came here? Check your ratings. Figure out what you got to do. Like, whatever you're doing is not working. And it sucks. It's very unfortunate because AEW is so great. Or has the potential to be so great. And it's a good thing they're around. They give people an alternative so the wrestlers can go other places and make really good money. I'm all for it existing. But man, I just want it to be better. It's got to be like can't miss television. And I hope it gets there. I really do. I really, really do. Because competition is best for everybody. If you don't believe that, you can go find a couple gas stations on the same corner and see which one's cheaper and watch the prices fluctuate. So anyway, so this has been the first episode of I don't know if it's weekly or bi-weekly or monthly. I don't know what this will be. But this has been the first episode of Wrestling with Tim. Just some of my thoughts, my ideas, my takes. If you have any input or any suggestions or any ideas as to what I could cover next, or you want to argue with me, that's fine. You can follow me on X at Tim Plays Drums, which is something I've done in my past, and I just can't get it to change because X hates me. You can follow me at Instagram at IllBeTim, IllBeTim, and argue with me. Tell me what I did wrong. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think the future of the Wyatt family stable is going to be. What do you think about AJ Styles challenging Cody Rhodes at Backlash? What do you think about Jey Uso? Do you think he's over? Do you think the Sami Zayn, Chad Gable situation is going to be any more interesting, more twists? What do you think about Alpha Academy? Are they going to stick around with him? And then who do you think will win the women's world title on Raw? That's what I'm really intrigued by. I'm keeping my eyes posted on that. It's going to be interesting, I hope. And also let me know what you think about my take on AEW. Again, I hope they last a long time. I hope everything goes well, but man, they got some work to do. So until next time, my name has been Tim, and this has been Wrestling with Tim.